Hey, Facebook, Elizabeth Nader here. So happy to be back with you. New Jersey Women for Trump. Tonight we are on New Jersey Women for Trump, but also Make New Jersey Red. We're on Reform New Jersey GOP. We are on New Jersey Republicans, Morris County Committee, all over Facebook tonight. So welcome, everyone. We're excited to be here. One of the things that we want to do is really promote local candidates and young people getting involved in our parties. So to that end, I am thrilled to bring to you guys tonight Justin Musella. Justin, welcome to New Jersey Women for Trump.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate the New Jersey for Women's invite tonight.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you here. Justin, you are the chair of the Morris County Young Republicans, and that is as I understand it, the largest one of the chapters in the state, obviously thriving.
Yes.
And you are doing some incredible things with your political career. But before we get into that, I want you to introduce yourself to everybody, your background, and how did you get involved in politics at such a young age?
Sure. So a little bit about myself. I've been a Morris County resident for about 5 years, and I'm in Parsippany. And I've always wanted to get involved at the local level, and that was principally to make a difference in people's lives. That's always been something I've loved to do, helping others, being of service to my neighbors, my friends, my family members, and doing whatever I could do to help them. And it just so happens that the political impact that all of the people in this state feel from its policies, well, I thought it's another form of service is to go into government and find out how I can take the things I've learned and the things I know to be true and make a meaningful difference at a much larger scale for the better for many people.
Right. Well, we need that desperately, but you are part of a party in a very blue state, right? The Republicans here, we have struggled, let's be honest. We didn't have the best year. We won some races, some local races we won that were great, but overall it was a challenging year. As you look back to November and you see where we've been, do you see the faction in the party? How do we heal this? What are your plans to bring people together?
Sure. So I think that right now we are in a bit of a wilderness as the party searches for a new leader, a new voice, and most importantly, a new way forward. And I think that President Trump, along with many of the other establishment Republicans, have done their best to serve the party's interests. But I feel that it's time that slowly and gradually the reins be handed over to younger people who are more attuned to the needs of the electorate as the millennials, the Gen Z, and all the other younger people's voices. And most importantly, they become a part of the electorate given their impact in the last presidential election. So I really feel that the way that we move forward is by getting that rejuvenation that party needs from the bottom up with new leaders, fresh faces who are aspirational, who are idealistic, but at the same time, sticking true to the conservative principles that they know to be true for themselves and for many other people.
I agree with you. It's a bottom-up strategy. We have to look for the long term. We need new faces. I know a lot of us are frustrated with the establishment, but I want to ask you, when you are in these YR meetings and talking to your peers, you're 29, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that age group, what are they talking about? What are their concerns? What are the things that you guys spend the most time debating? What do they want to see change in this state and in this country?
Well, when you become a member of the workforce and you see your paycheck and what comes out of it in return for the services that you receive, I think that is one of the defining moments of becoming a conservative when you start asking questions. Those questions like, where's my money going? What do I receive for these services? What does the tax dollars that we all pay, because remember, it's our money,
That's right.
Where do they go? Of what value do they provide to the people that are actually on the receiving end of these services? So when you look at where our money goes from an economic standpoint, and remember, we all have big ideas, hopes, and dreams, but we all have businesses, we all have livelihoods and
Right.
jobs.
Right.
And the way that a state is run can impact your financial trajectory very, very much so.
Yeah.
And I know when I went into the workforce, that is when I really started asking a lot of the questions that many people my age ask and debate about. To answer your
Right.
question, we
Right.
debate about, where does our money go? What is our money doing? Why is Trenton so messed up? Why is New Jersey one of the most highest tax states,
That's right.
and so many people are leaving?
Yeah.
So clearly that's a desperate cry for younger people who are ready to step into the battle and take all the things that we debate, whether they're at the bar, they're at our YR chapters,
Right.
and start spreading the gospel to the people that are out there who need to be educated about this message.
Yeah, they do. I love it, Justin. And your age group is really having a hard time affording staying in New Jersey. And we're seeing so many people leave, or we're seeing people in your age category who just can't, maybe they went away for college and they just can't come back. We are going to see a shrinking of a tax base, and we're seeing it already. They
Mm-hmm.
just can't afford to be here. And I guess it's hitting home when they see their paychecks, trying to buy their first house, right? Looking at property taxes. How are they specifically challenged, though, by what's happened with Murphy's choices with coronavirus? Because the whole COVID approach has hurt people in different ways. For your age group, what do they see about Murphy's choices, and how do they personally feel harmed by them?
A lot of people see how there is an incongruency between the choices Phil Murphy makes, like, for instance, limiting the bars and restaurants to a certain
Right.
time, but there's no real science behind that, right? Like, what difference did really midnight and 10 p.m. ever make in
Who
the
knows?
end? You know, so there's a lot of these things where we see that, um, follow the rules for thee, but not for me.
Right.
And we see a lot of Democrats that are breaking their own rules that they set for others, by whether it be not abiding by social distancing, not abiding by wearing a mask, as in California,
Right.
who Phil Murphy wants us to be like in the
Yeah,
end.
he does. He said
Yeah,
that. He said
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, younger people in our generation, we recognize that fighting COVID and ensuring that our family members, the older people, the most vulnerable, stay healthy.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we still need to go out and make a living. We still need to go out and support businesses, because if these businesses fail and die, then all of our communities are going to suffer unduly. As we've seen, a third of almost all restaurants and small businesses have shut their doors.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
the personal impact that a lot of younger people are feeling is that a lot of they're seeing that their favorite places in their community, whether they be restaurants, bars, entertainment venues,
Yeah.
they're out of business.
Right.
So again, we know that we need to protect the most vulnerable,
Yeah.
but then on the other hand, the people who are at the least risky should be able to go out and support businesses, go out and work, and go out there and do their best to protect everybody else.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. So when we look at the election this past fall and the impact that your age group had on it, and what happened, what is that conversation like in that YR room? Are they saying that election was fraudulent? Are they saying, this was eventually going to happen, we're swinging the other way? Are they frustrated? They feel like their vote counted? What is the general reaction? Because I think it might be different in your age group than it is in my age group, which I'm not going to give you, but we'll talk about your age group for now.
Elizabeth, it's a mix of all the above.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who feel like there were numerous suspicious incidents that were not thoroughly investigated. They feel as if there are a lot of unanswered questions,
Sure.
and they rightfully want to have some closure. Then on the other hand, there's a lot of people, and this is where I fall into, is I fall into the group where I think that there were a lot of instances of suspicious activity
Hmm.
throughout the country. I don't think there was a broad interstate conspiracy to rig the election. And I respect the outcome of the election and accept the results. And it's time for us to move forward
Right.
from that.
Right.
And the Democrats, what they learned from 2016 is they went in thinking that the election was a shoo-in for Hillary Clinton, and it was a wake-up call to them.
Right.
So
That's
what
right.
the Democrats did is they took those intervening years between 2016 and 2021, and they built up some very strong grassroots organizations and became more disciplined, more motivated, and more operationally effective in the election. So what I think that the Republican Party needs to do is we need to do that inventory of ourselves
Yeah.
and find out what principles of ours resonate with the electorate. Where do we need to reevaluate what we stand for? But most importantly, how do we make our party that is the party of optimism and positivity and of success for everybody?
Yeah.
How is our party the one that appeals and pushes people in and not pushes people out?
Right.
And it starts with that bottom up change of getting that shot in the arm that new blood can bring to that party, who
Yeah.
can go out and talk to people in our age group, because we experience the same things. We've grown from the same system. So when I'm speaking to a lot of younger voters, I'm able to make headway that respectfully older
May not be able
officials
to.
may
Yeah.
not be able to.
Agreed. Agreed. I've seen you speak at rallies. I think you do an amazing job. We have some comments here that people have seen you out and about, and you're definitely a rising star in the party. We definitely need more people your age to, really double down and commit and get involved. And to that end, you are on county committee, but you've also decided to throw your hat in the ring. Talk about the race that you are now involved in.
Sure, sure. So I appreciate you calling me a rising star. I think there's many rising stars
Sure. Sure.
as well in Morris County,
Yes.
like Ashley Felice in
Yes.
Chatham. There's
Agreed.
Joe Bach in
Yeah.
Booton. We have Kyle Holman, Tim Dragg, Sarah Nybart. So we have a lot of elected officials who are young Republicans that
Yes.
are doing a phenomenal job. So I can only hope to serve the people of Parsippany, as well as all of the other stars are serving their towns. But when it comes to getting younger people elected, we need to be out there, and we need to have a good ground game, and we need to be doing the door knocking safely, of course, but being present in a lot of the voters' minds. And when it comes to my race, that's exactly how I've been doing it. I've been going door to door. I've been talking to people. And when I moved to Parsippany, I heard the same thing pretty broadly across many of the people I spoke to who became friends and so forth, is that they were really dissatisfied with the way things were run in town.
Right.
And they felt as if they didn't have a voice and that they were unheard. And I thought, hey, here's how I feel about the situation. This is what I would do if I was in there. And as more and more people encouraged and reached out and pushed me to make a very difficult decision, I thought, if not me, then who else could possibly do this?
Yeah.
So since last week on Thursday, I announced my campaign for town council in
Congratulations.
Parsippany. And I have to say, truly, I've been blessed with the outpouring of support. And I truly am so grateful for everybody that has donated, has pledged to volunteer. And I will even give credit where credit is due. As I have had a lot of support come from the other aisle, come
Yeah.
from a lot of my Democratic friends
Nice.
who want to see younger people get in and succeed. So
Right.
there is ways for younger people to appeal to the other side, to different
Yeah.
parts of the electorate that some of the establishment people aren't able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations. You're running for Parsippany Town Council. Everyone in Morris County is really proud of you. We're proud of our county. We believe that we are the up and coming, the ones to watch. I see Laura Ali here, our chair. She's watching right now, and I couldn't be more proud to be part of a county like Morris. And you are one of the people leading us in that direction. So Parsippany, one of our 39 towns, really the biggest one, right?
Hmm.
What are the specific issues? Because a town like that, there's so many things you need to tackle. And I've been watching you on Facebook and watching some of the videos, and there's a lot that needs to be done. Take us through some of those important issues, especially if we have some Parsippany people watching tonight.
Sure. So for all of the Parsippany people, and realize a lot of the Parsippany issues are New Jersey issues,
Yeah.
because so many of the things like overdevelopment are happening everywhere. Overdevelopment, affordable housing being shoved down the throat of every municipality is
Right.
coming for everybody.
That's right.
In Parsippany in particular, we have 2,500 new apartments that are under construction
Wow.
and will finish within the next 2 years. And given that that could potentially add another 250 to 500 students to our already overcrowded school system,
Right.
that's going to be a massive amount of tax increases that will have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And those tax increases, which again is the second issue, is we've seen the current administration, as instead of cutting costs, eliminating patronage jobs that the taxpayer frankly had no reason ever to pay for, the taxpayer has had to suffer from the mismanagement and the fiscal irresponsibility of the current administration.
Right.
So our goals would be to go in and right size the current town hall and ensure that it's as running as lean and efficient as possible. So, and then the last issue would be is how are we going to support our businesses? Parsippany has a bulk of the businesses and the restaurants
Absolutely.
in Morris County,
Right.
and so many of them are struggling right now. And that's why my girlfriend and I, we have a rule where we go out to eat at least twice a week, try and support a business, go out,
Yeah.
buy something from them, and do what we can to give them the help that they deserve. And unfortunately, there hasn't been much help that they've received from town hall. So we would look to be more responsive, more involved with ensuring the success of our businesses and of all residents.
Yeah. Now, when you go door knocking, and I know you've already been working hard and talking to residents, I mean, these are the issues that you really see from your position. What else are you hearing from them that's in their daily life that they're struggling with? Are the schools open? Are there kids in school?
It depends. There were some instances where were COVID outbreaks,
Yeah.
so they've had to cycle between going back in and learning virtually. And as I talk to a lot of parents do want their kids back in school,
Right.
because as we know, that there is a much more of an impactful environment if somebody is together in the same class, face to face, in person. So there's only so much that you can really do through Zoom until that fatigue sets in. And I can only speak about that through my professional life, where I'm always on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine, and I'm at least enjoying what I'm doing. I remember in school, there were many classes I didn't enjoy doing.
Right.
So I couldn't imagine being on Zoom
Right.
and not enjoying what I was being taught.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard on these kids. And I think, since we're at day, is it 344 of 15 days to flatten the curve, as Bill Spadia says every day. We were all willing to keep them home to do what we had to do. Now we're in literally a mental health crisis with these kids. We are so far beyond what we all thought would be okay and acceptable. And we just really we're hitting the wall with all of this. So Parsippany schools need to stay open as much as possible. And in terms of the businesses there, you've got a lot of restaurants. That's of major concern. And in terms of small business, what does that landscape look like in Parsippany?
That landscape is going to be a very challenging environment. Of the 25 million square feet of office space in Morris County, about 14 million of it is in
Yeah,
is in
sure,
Parsippany.
sure.
So Parsippany is that business hub for small, large,
Mhm.
and medium businesses. And given that this year has completely disrupted every single industry, so many of them are struggling. So what I think needs to be done is that we need to look at, when it comes to the Parsippany budget, what are we spending money on that doesn't provide a value to the
Mm,
taxpayer that
right.
perhaps we can siphon back to some of the businesses
Yeah.
in ways of grants, in ways of incentives to ensure that their doors stay open. So the mindset that we need to have at town hall, that I feel the current administration is lacking, is a do whatever it takes to support the business community in Parsippany.
Yeah, absolutely. So besides them lacking that mindset, how else do you set yourself apart from them? What are the other things that you feel that need to change that make you the right candidate?
Sure. And it comes from not waiting to be elected to start serving.
Yeah,
And it begins with, if you want to see a change, then go and be the change.
yeah,
And what we did was, many, many months ago, we joined forces with a cleanup team in Parsippany, and we've been responsible for weekly cleanups of the Lake Hiawatha area, the Route 46 corridor, because under the current administration, so many residents on all parts of the township complain about how the first thing that they see when they come into Parsippany, because you have to, on many cases, take 287, 10,
right.
280 to get into the town, that it's littered with trash.
Yeah,
And that's the first impression. If you don't know the town of Parsippany, if you're potentially considering buying a home, the trash, if you're considering opening up a business, well, then you're thinking to yourself, why would I want to move to a place and settle down
right.
if it doesn't even look like that there's a pride on the part of the administration that's governing the town? So we've also been instrumental in supporting local charities, local organizations, providing donations that go back to the residents, go back to these small businesses, and doing whatever we can to be of value and of service to the town. Because ultimately, the chief aim of our campaign is to be of service to all residents and help them out no
Absolutely.
matter what.
Absolutely. So I heard a little rumor today that the Democrat Party is scared that you're running for Congress. You just barely announced running for town council. Do you want to speak to that article that came out about your potential congressional bid?
Yeah, I did. I did see that article. I think that tells you more about them than it does about me, because I am all about positivity, optimism, and success. Nobody in any side has anything to fear from me, because at the end of the day, I just want to get things done.
Right.
Whether it is ensuring that the town hall is working as best as it can, whether it be supporting the taxpayers and finding out how we can genuinely lower their tax bill, how we can keep the doors open and the lights on for a lot of these small
Right.
businesses in town. Those are all of our issues that we're running on, that are really neither Republican or Democrat. It's
Shouldn't be.
all about good governance and ensuring that the town has a better future by making sure that the people that are governing it truly care about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't need to worry about you skipping town in the midterms and running for Congress. You're going to stick with Parsippany.
I, I'm going to be too busy cleaning up Parsippany to ever have that chance. So
Yeah.
I did appreciate the compliment, as it did come from the most unlikely of places. But I would decline on running for Congress if elected.
Well, maybe someday, but you have a lot of work to do in
Sure,
participating. It's going to
we
take
definitely
time.
do.
Yeah, and
Our hands will be filled.
they will be. And really the most important thing we can do right now to revitalize our state and our party is to focus on our streets, our cities, our local government. We're shut out of DC anyway, and it's not going too well in Trenton. So
Yep.
let's focus where we can make a difference. And I am sure young people are going to listen to this either tonight or when replaying it, thinking, I want to be like this guy, right? I want to be like Justin. How do I do this? How do I find my why? How do I get excited? What next steps do I take? What advice would you give them to try to follow in someone like your footsteps, Ashley's footsteps, Joe, all these guys that are really revitalizing Morris County? How do people your age take the next steps?
The next steps is get involved and take action, and take lots of action,
Yeah.
because we all can be on Facebook all day, Twitter, Instagram, but the real change and difference happens with boots on the ground and rolling up your sleeves and doing the hard work and paying your dues, because nothing is going to be given to you. You have to go out and take it.
Amen.
And that is the type of enterprising mindset that I would love to bring to town hall. And as I go around and share our vision for how things can be done, that'll resonate with a lot of people, because we can be bold, we can be idealistic. And it's something I hear a lot when I knock on doors, is people criticize the Republicans for being the party of no.
Oh, really?
And the Democrats being the party of hope and change.
Mm.
Well, there is a tremendous amount of optimism in our party, because we don't feel that your bills should be any higher than you want them to be. We believe that success starts with you and doesn't come from the government.
Yes.
And that opportunity is all around you, and that it is the government's responsibility to ensure that all of the people have every single opportunity to go out and be successful, and to not take no and be satisfied with where they're at. So that is what I stand for. That is what I would tell every single young person. It doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. Get involved and go and be the difference.
Absolutely.
And that is how you can bring about success.
Well, I can tell you what they can do right now is they can reach out to you and get involved in your campaign. There's a lot of energy behind it, and they can learn from you and everyone surrounding you how to really do a grassroots campaign where you are connecting with the citizens, you're listening to them, you understand their issues. It's not about you, it's about Parsippany first. And that is a very important thing for people to understand. And I believe that about you, Justin. Now, I'm getting a request here on the comments for you to do an impression. Did I miss something about your many talents? Do you have the ability to do an impression that I didn't know about?
I don't know of which person I could do an impression about, but the only person I can ever imitate is myself, and that's the best person I can imitate.
All right. Okay.
And what I would say is that, look, I think that there are so many people out there who are looking for our message right now.
Yeah.
And it's been lost in the negativity.
Yes.
It's been lost in the poor messaging, and we have to accept responsibility for our part. But the good news is that it is very fixable.
Yeah.
And it starts with allowing new blood to filter into the party and to lead it to the next steps of its likely evolution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will do everything that I can to make my party proud, to be as good as Joe, Ashley, and all the other YRs that hold an office in Morris County, and for us to forge that path forward. So I will do everything I can.
Well, we are so proud of all of you, and you are all shining stars. We're all behind you. This is how we win, street by street. I have rarely seen a candidate already work as hard as you do, and I know that you've just begun. I know that you're committed, and I hope that all the people in Parsippany, sit up and take notice. On either side, right? You are a bipartisan choice in many ways because of the hope that you offer and the change to make Parsippany an amazing place and put it first. And I believe you're a selfless candidate to do that. So tell everybody how they can get involved with your campaign, where they can find you on social media, your website. Give them all of those details.
Sure. So you can find us at Parsippany First on Facebook and Instagram. And you can look me up, Justin Musella, on Facebook and message me. Parsippany First is our campaign platform.
Right.
We will have our website up and ready when we announce our third candidate to complete our slate. But those are the ways to contact me. And I would welcome any support. I would never turn anybody away. And you don't have to agree with me with everything. But if you're interested in service, you're interested in going out there and putting yourself in the firing line and willing to take shots, then I maybe could teach you a thing or two.
I think that's true. And I want to remind everybody, especially the younger people listening, you don't have to live in Parsippany to get involved in this campaign. You need to believe in what we're trying to do. All of us have worked on a lot of campaigns outside of where we live, because it's all about putting our talent, our time, and our treasure behind people that need to lead our party into the next era and into the change that we need. So Justin, I got to give you a lot of credit. I thank you for coming on. I thank you for leading the YRs. And I wish you all the best in Parsippany. I believe you will win. Give us one last comment on the way out.
It doesn't have to be about Parsippany or me. If you're a younger person listening, or you're somebody who knows that you should be involved, look to your local town. Get on a planning board. Get on a zoning board. Go and start asking questions to the people running government. If you don't like things going on as the way that you see them, then it's your duty and your obligation to go out there and ask those hard questions. So I would wish every single person to do that. And I can't thank you enough for inviting me onto this program. And I look forward to keeping everybody proud of the progress that I make.
Absolutely. Justin, thank you. Morris County thanks you. The Republican Party thanks you. We'll have to have you back on, especially to celebrate your win. Justin, thank you so much. And
Okay.
Guys, we will see you all next week. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, NJ Women for Trump.
Absolutely.
Have a good evening.